Alrighty. Then, I guess, if I were Jim Carrey, you're watching the Ramsey Show Aftershow show today, and we are live from Columbus, OH. And second day in a row that the Ramsey Show has been over at 11:05, so I guess I'll change that to 11:05 start time. And I have changed that in the ticker below already, and so we'll do 11:05. I'm sure now that I've changed it, it'll go back to 11:07, but we will see. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was telling you I'm Coach Steve Money, my Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and you're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and if you go to my home page there and you just scroll past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists, you'll see my financial content, Ramsey Show After Show, and as you can see, today is episode number 567, so that's a couple of those in there. And there are 151 answering your financial questions shows, and that is an 8 p.m. stream. And so generally on the weekdays, I can generally do one or the other. A morning stream right after the Ramsey Show is over on YouTube, or an 8 p.m. stream. What is tomorrow? Wednesday. I will not be doing any tomorrow, but then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be 8 p.m. streams because I am working earlier in the morning. I believe that's what it is. It's in the ticker, and so whatever the ticker says is correct. Alrighty. Market report. And after being down yesterday, we have a much better look today. Russell Small Cap Index up the most, 0.67%. NASDAQ 0.12%, and S&P 500 just barely over 0%. But the Dow Jones 0.17 down. So the rest of the planet looks like mostly up in Europe, all up in Asia. Let's see what the US dollar is doing over the euro, over the Japanese yen, over the British pound globe, over the Canadian dollar, United States is not sorry, but the Australian dollar is ahead of the US dollar, so not a clean sweep for the US on that. And I believe this says, is it that one? Yeah. I believe what this says. Oh, let's take a look. It's on Yahoo Finance. Yahoo. Nasdaq wobble as Trump's deadline delay gives hope of trade deals. And yes, there will be deals, and that's going to be constant. So when he says again, this is when it has to be done by, he could easily say, oh, well, we'll put a delay on that and hopefully we can work out a deal. Imagine that. That's why you don't base your whole life on one thing. Even the president of the United States says. You don't base it on what one person says. But of course, the market doesn't have anything to do except overreact to one thing that somebody says. And so that's what they do. And so that's the reason it's up today, and that was the reason it was down yesterday, and it was dumb. It could have just stayed up yesterday. As I often talk about this. Let's see, where are we? Let's do S&P 500, and this is my, this is the max view of it on Google Finance, and so you see how it's almost just a angled line here. And so if people just put money into it and didn't overreact and say, oh, I got to sell, but of course your traders on Wall Street, that's their whole job. So I guess that won't ever happen. But if it was just the retirement people doing it, the people trying to save for retirement, it would look more just like a straight line that just goes that way. And because nobody would ever be selling, because when you sell, you're dumb. Now, what your traders are doing, your day traders and such like that, like, for example, the Pandy crash, okay, and I will admit you made money if you sold right here at the previous high, and then you bought at the low right there, and then 6 months later, after it started going down, it was back up to a new high, then sure, you made money because you bought some there. But some of what you sold would have been even cheaper bought way back in here. So you are giving up some of that. So that's just the way it goes. But the day-to-day stuff, the volatility stuff, that's not your normal retirement investor, because your normal retirement investor just keeps putting money in until they retire. And so they're not trying to turn a buck every single day. They get that probably, on average at least. But that's not what they're after and trying to make this much. I got to make this much today and this much tomorrow. And it doesn't work like that. It's just an over time thing. What else do we have to? Let's see. If anybody knew, Verizon on July 21st. I think there's a couple other ones coming up before that. That was on the list yesterday. Earnings reports. Let's see. We have one. Just Tesla and Apple in the green on the most followed single stocks on the Google so far today. Take a quick look at the headlines. Amazon Prime Day deals. Tesla, deeper trouble than you think. Investors snap up growing share of U.S. homes as traditional buyers struggle to afford one. Well, that's the way it goes. Investors are allowed to buy houses. They want to. New normal of growth stock dominance. I don't think that's new normal. I don't think that's new. Chaos in Sleepy Hampton's Hamlet as trendy grocery store mobbed by one percenters. Okay? You'd think one percenters would not be mobbing anything. That's weird. Maybe it's an exaggeration. Maybe a lot of them just went there at the same time. Maybe they had a sale. Who knows? Until layoffs begin. And there was supposed to be, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, there was supposed to be a new Intel plant going here in the outskirts of Columbus, a little town called New Albany. And that has not happened yet. I believe they broke ground on it, but they haven't started construction. And food and wine. Alright. So I guess that'll do it for the market report. Did I have that was the article I opened. Let's do some questions. How about that? Oh, you know what you should do? Since you have a monitor, see the chat. You should scroll the chat down where you can see the chat. I'll figure this out one day. It's only been 567 of these done so far. So now, why did? All right, and see, this is why I don't do it so far in advance. I don't find out where I was the previous day. And yes. So if I knew again, and we'll go somewhere around like 6 days ago. I used to just start from the top and go. But I do too many shows, and so I miss questions that way. And there's only 1,000 questions on here at a time as well, and so it works better if I go from the bottom up. So almost there, almost there. But the page resets sometimes, and I don't know why. Don't know why. Almost there, I promise. Sorry. Did this one. This stay-at-home mom was too conservative. Target date funds too conservative. Put 40K into the home as a fixer upper. No, you would pay it off first before you would be fixing it up or remodeling or anything like that. Okay. Tricky Orange 4526 house 30% of take-home question. Kind of a dumb question, but when you're calculating mortgage affordability, everyone says it's 30%. Not everyone says that. Mr. Ramsey says it's 25%. So you can't say everyone says that. You just want it to be that. But is that 30% of take-home after retirement or before retirement? That is take-home pay. And retirement would be coming out of your check. So that's without the retirement. And that's why you don't want this number to be so high. You want it to be around 25%. And the reason why is because guess what, my friend? You think the hard part's over. Steps 1, 2, and 3, paying off all your debt and having the full emergency fund at the end of step 3. But in step 4, guess what? You got to invest 15%. So that's 15%. And so if you want to get a house, and that would be 25% of your take-home pay. This is 15% of gross, so it's not apples to oranges here. So let's just for fun just say that's 20% of gross, or 20% of take-home pay, something like that. Anyway, it would be 20, so we'll use 20 for that, and then 30. So that's 50% on investing and mortgage payment. So that leaves 50% for everything else. And the problem is, hey, guess what? You're not just doing step 4. And paying the mortgage payment, you're also doing step 5, saving for kid college if that's applicable. And I know a young lady that is applicable for now. Congratulations to her. But also then paying off your home early, which means putting extra on it. So where is all that money coming from? And so that's why you need to keep the percentage down. And it's not 30%. I don't know where you got 30 from. Is that the financial bro number? I'm surprised it's that low. I would think they would want you to get more. Let's see. Make 6 figures, not bragging. Oh, I did read this before. Or I skimmed it. I can't remember if this is, I'm remembering it from the skim or actually reading it. My take home is like 60%, 5,550. That means I can only afford a $1,600 a month mortgage, including insurance. Yeah, actually, if you take this down to 25%, that's even less. So guess what? You're not buying as big a house as you want to, or as expensive a house as you want to. That would be no. The advice would be to not do that. And no, you don't get to up your purchasing power by $250 a month. No, you don't. You actually have to take it down some. Mommy of 5 Chronicles. Would you leave as is or do something different? Working on the Dave Ramsey steps, and currently on baby step 2, okay, which we have a HELOC and my car loan left to pay off. The car loan will be paid off in November. Then we'll start working on the HELOC. We own 2 homes, so that's a no. You would not own the second home. If that's a rental or vacation home, no. You would sell that, pay off the HELOC, and then you get to, you know, baby step, done with baby step 2 and do 3 and get to at least baby step 4, and then you can start to save money to buy a rental property in cash or a vacation home in cash, a second home in cash. Our first home is single family unit in front and 1-to-1 ADU. That's additional dwelling unit in the back, like for a mother-in-law suite or something like that. They're both being rented out, and we use some of the rent money that goes towards our current home, which also has a front. Yeah, so you don't have a mortgage. You better not have a mortgage on these, on either of them. I mean, you already have the HELOC, and so that's basically taking from the equity, so that's a loan on the house. And if you have a loan on either one of the other ones, you're doing those wrong as well. So, yeah, we owe $232 in the first home and $790 on the second home. Hey, guess what? Sell the second home. With all 5 kids in private school, our goal is to pay off HELOC and work our way down. No, that's no. That's no. You do not do rental properties with mortgages. You buy those properties in cash. And yep, you're right. Most people can't do that. So that would leave most people out of that. So then you just don't do it instead of, well, I want to do it. So this is where I'm going to deviate from Dave. Fine. Knock yourself out. Brief management, 886. What counts as income when you're retired? Trying to understand what counts as income when you're retired and not working. Will it be the money you're withdrawing for the year to live on? Via the 3% rule? I thought it was the 4% rule. People always making up new stuff. If it's a Roth account that you're pulling it from, you don't have to pay taxes on it. What's the question about? I wonder what the question is about here. Let's see if there is any added clarification. Maybe somebody asked why in the original poster. It's only for traditional 401k, so not Roth. And 4% withdrawal is what it was. Maybe people are changing it to doing it. People are living scared at 4% and end up dying with more than they retired with after living way too frugally. I'm sure that happens. 78%, much more realistic number. And yes, you can take that out. That's Mr. Ramsey's whole thing. You can take out 8% if your investments are making 10% average per year. And so stop being dumb about that. Yeah, don't get Dave started on withdrawal rate. Don't have to get him started because he's right about it. It's simple, very, very simple math. But, of course, financial bros like to make things difficult. Okay, nothing further from the... Oh, yeah, for what purpose? There we go. Taxes, tithing, yeah, general budgeting, what in the world? Here we go. For when being taxed on investment withdrawals during retirement. Yeah, you gotta pay taxes on the gains. Yes. So your maybe first couple years would be the oh no, I think you still got you would still have to do that because you were not taxed on the income when you got it. So yeah, so everything you would be taxed on. That's right. You don't get any leeway for the amount you've contributed. Yeah. So worried about taxes is the name of this one. And could have said that. Didn't. IPER though, budgeting. Pushed the thread a couple days ago about starting to do the baby steps in July. What is the best way to budget? I'm paid bi-weekly. Should I budget based on my paycheck or monthly budget? You can do either one, whichever is easiest for you to keep track of and help you stay on the budget. Seems like budgeting per paycheck seems easier to keep track of and control my spending more. Thought? again, whatever way helps you the most, whatever way is easiest for you and helps you stay on budget without going over, do that. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter. You can do it either way and it be, easily understandable because it is just numbers after all. And so, but you just pick one and you stay with that, or you can pick one and if it doesn't work for you that well, you can try the other. You can try both. Best way to invest $6,000 a year. That's from Lost Beat 6354. 40 years old and recently started following Dave Ramsey. My goal is to save $25 a day, 5 days a week, which would add up to $6,000 a year. Someone suggested I invested in index funds, but I'd love to hear what others think. What are some of the best options for investing the money? Well, okay, so the first thing we would have to know is what baby step you're on, because guess what? You're not doing this dumbass crap unless you are in step 7. So, guess where that $6,000 a year would be, and you wouldn't save it up first until it is $6,000. You would apply it $25 at a time if you make that every day. You would apply that to whatever baby step you're on. You should not be investing anyway, and you should be paying that off. Reverse situation, making it a lot better. If you're on step 6, you would apply that $25 a day that you're saving to the house to pay it off early instead of doing extra saving or investing beyond the 6 months of emergency fund savings and the 15% of gross household income. You do not do more than either of those. You don't do a penny more until your house is paid off. Now, if you're in step 7, knock yourself out. Do whatever dumb crap you want to do. It's fine. Because it's not so dumb then. And it is investing in savings, so that's build wealth and give is the step 7. So that's the building wealth part of it. By saving it and investing. Whatever you'd like to do. Sorry cry 527. Sorry _ cry 527. There's a lot to do / saving. How much exactly? What? All right, let's see. Hello, hi guys. I'm 22 and new to the workforce, out of college with no debt and $13K for my emergency fund saved up. Yikes. Clean though. Emergency fund saved up. I have about $3,000 saved in retirement. Not much. I don't know. That's fine. Still a baby at 22. I make gross about $68K a year. My question is that I see that baby step 4 recommends saving 15% for retirement, which I can do easily. Great. My bigger concern is saving for a mortgage down payment. I've used the tool on Ramsey's website to calculate how much I should save for a down payment, assuming my mortgage payment will be about 25% of my gross income. Fabulous. Just about what my rent price is now. Fabulous. Furthermore, I've made sure to choose the 15-year mortgage. Fabulous. Doing it correctly. And a $40K down payment if I want my desired. Ready? On fire. Desired. Monthly price, I'm looking at about $170,000 house. A few issues with this. I want to buy a bigger house, probably. Let's see. 401k is a lot for a down. 40K is a lot for a down payment. No, it's not. No, it's not, my friend. On top of saving for retirement. Well, lucky for you, you can, per Mr. Ramsey, you can pause investing completely all the way down to 0% for 2 years while you save up a larger down payment faster. I'm wondering what additional percentage to save towards the 40K. That balance is completely up to you, and enjoy this. This is the only time where you get to decide what happens during the baby steps. Otherwise, you should do the baby steps the way the baby steps say to do the baby steps. I have a tendency to save most of my income, but then I don't have much money to enjoy left over. Well, that is how it works. Same thing, if you spent most of your money, you would not have much money to save. On the flip side, my fear is that saving not enough would take years and years and years and years before I could even purchase a home. Well, I've just told you, and hopefully this person has found out the answer to that. I guess I can check to see if somebody has informed him. Maybe the elephant in the room. What kind of house am I supposed to get for 170K? I mean, admittedly, I'm not trying to live in a small cabin shack in the Midwest. And the more I look, I'm looking as well. Maybe there are some plausible houses, but the areas are just not ideal. And more than anything, significant drop in the quality of life from the apartment I'm renting for the same price. Yes, owning something is better, but I feel a little unhopeful about following this process to a T. What do you mean I feel a little bit unhopeful? You're the one that decides to follow the advice or not. You can be a dumbass and do whatever dumb crap you want to do and buy too much house if you want to, but quit whining that you can't get a house if you follow the Ramsey advice. Got a great idea. Don't follow the Ramsey advice then. Now, you should. That is the best way to go about things. That will put your finances in a better place than you doing the dumb crap you want to do, like buy too much house. See, that's the problem with people. They're all like, you know, I don't have any debt now, and I got a 13K emergency fund, I'm 22, and, you know, you make the 68K a year, all that's great there, and then you're talking about investing, etc., etc., and so all that's great then, but, the problem, yeah, so you see, most people, in following the baby steps, they're going to have to sacrifice and not buy something they want to buy. And for you, and for a lot of people, that would be a more expensive house than you should be getting. And I don't care about anything about, I want it to be just as good as the apartment that I have. I don't give a crap. Make more money then. Or save longer and have a higher down payment, which again, if you would have just looked into this and Googled this a little bit more, you might have found out that you indeed can stop saving for retirement for up to 2 years while you save a higher down payment, and that will get your mortgage amount down lower, and so that would put you in the Ramsey guidelines. I'd love some opinions and advice. I'm trying to be as financially smart as I can while still maintain a decent quality of life. Justification station here. So you can't be both. In this situation, you can't be both. While still maintaining your version of a decent quality of life means you're not going to be financially smart. Those are two different things the way you have outlined it here. And having money to spend and enjoying now, even worse. So that none of that is, you say I want to be financially smart, and then but I'm going to do these unsmart things, which is maintain a decent quality of life, and having money to spend and enjoy now. Oh, and one last thing, of course there's something else. I don't plan to buy a house for, I guess, around 5 years or so. I plan to move around a lot to get a sense of what I like. Okay, that's fine too. That gives you more time to save a down payment. So what's the problem? I don't want to settle down in one spot quite yet. Okay, I don't understand what the problem is then. You have 5 years to save. So, and again, for up to 2 years, you can pause retirement and save a larger down payment. Or you can be dumb and just not have that much of a high down payment and buy a more expensive house than you should be getting. Because yeah, where are we? 68K a year. So we are looking at a mortgage of, what is that, 136. 34, you're looking about 160 something. And what did he say? Yeah, $170,000 house. Exactly. That's $170,000 mortgage. And so if you want a $200,000 house, then you can add 30K down payment to that. And then you got a $200,000 house. So you also have to understand how the simple math works on something like that as well, which this person may or may not. So, and how much exactly, that's up to you, whatever you're going to do with your little demands or whatever, your expectations, whatever you want to do. Neat Jaguar, neat Jaguar, 8114 is that number. How to budget? Well, okay, let's read it first. My wife and I make about $300,000 a year. Well, if you make that much money, pay someone to do it for you. Kidding. But only 40K of that is guaranteed salary. Oh no, salespeople. The rest comes from commish, so our income can vary a lot. We might make 10K one month and 50K the next. I do not think it makes sense to base our budget on just the 40K salary or assume a consistent 25K per month either. What is the middle ground? How do we find a realistic number to budget around? Any suggestions? It would seem like somewhere in the middle would be a good thing. And then also you might want to have a hill and valley fund when you have such volatile changes in the month-to-month salary. So maybe a combination of both. Maybe budget on 25K. Or I got a great idea. How about you do budget on the 10K, and then you're set either way. And then whatever you have left over from the budget, whatever your extra, goes to whatever baby step you're on. Paying off debt, doing the full emergency fund, and then step 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time. So yeah, you can do that. So I mean, if you can cover all your expenses on a 10K month, that's great, because then on the 40K months you have a bunch of different a bunch of extra money to apply to the baby steps. Low location, 2588, 30 years old, 275K in IRA. Zero debt, getting $350,000 from a house sale. What should I do? Buy another house or rent and invest? Mix of both. I mean, that's up to you. You don't. It's not a law that you have to buy a house. But why would you rent when you can easily get a mortgage because you already got money from a house sale? Trying to figure now. What you can do is you can buy. Oh, how about you buy a $300,000 house or less, or a $250,000 house, and then you can invest the rest. How about that? That'd be fine. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do and just need some opinions that aren't my own. Goal is earliest retirement as possible. Well, having a paid off house helps in retirement, because then you don't have a mortgage or rent payment. How about that? So I would prioritize house there. The IRA doesn't factor in because you're not taking that out until retirement. Carry cash route, selling it. We'll get back 350K, yeah. Every time I run the numbers, it makes more sense for me to invest all of this and rent. And so that locks you into rent forever. In 10 years, I would have around 1 million. I could retire off that and live on the return of that money until my IRA hits easily. Okay, you've done the math. So why ask then? I don't get it. I would then just rent and save enough for a down payment on a home. My other option, what you would do that after 10 years, after you have the million? My other option is just buy a home in cash and slowly invest my would-be mortgage payment at that over time, but that extends the time to retirement. My other option is, yeah, I'm bored with you. I'm bored with you, sir. Um, you would, in your position, being able to buy a house in cash, I would buy a house in cash instead of investing and then later trying to buy a house in cash. The only caveat to that is if you are going to be moving around like the last person. Wanted to move around, wanted to stay renting while I'm moving around a while, which is the absolute right thing to do. But yeah, I don't care about what your other option is. You're trying to do too many things again, all at the same time. Timothy. How's that song go? Dada. It's a group called Dada from the 90s. It was, man, they call me Tim. My real name is Timothy. Your attention, please. But please not just sympathy. Anyway, Timothy Nelly, 121, or I-21. Trying to stay on track. Is that going to get you back? But private loans are making things tricky. It's tricky to rock a rhyme, that's right on time. It's tricky. I've been working through the baby steps and making solid prog, but I'm running into a bit of a curveball with an old student loan that isn't federal. How is it a curveball? Pay it off, just like everything else. What's the problem? I've been paying it down, but I'm wondering if it makes sense to look at refinancing options to get a lower rate and free up some momentum for step 2 that is not advised. Consolidating, refi, none of that's, you sacrifice more, put more money into it. Stop going out to eat, cut things out of your budget, and pay the dumb thing off instead of doing that. One lender that keeps coming up in my searches is SoFi. What do you think about SoFi for student loan refinancing? That's a no. I know Dave's pretty anti-debt across the board. It's not even that. It's just the problem with you refinancing. That makes you happier with your freaking student loan because it's not as high as an interest rate. The idea is to keep you mad at it so that you get rid of it forever and not just refi it. And I'm with him on that. Great. But trying to be strategic here, yeah, you're trying to find a way to not do the stuff, as Mr. Ramsey said. You're trying to improve on advice that cannot be improved upon. It's already the best it's gonna be. And not looking to extend the loan or take on more. Right, you don't do that, put more to it. Just possibly speed things up. And how you speed things up is you do not spend money on anything else. Only 100% necessary things. Everything else goes to that dumbass private student loan that you shouldn't have taken out in the first place. Would love to hear how others handled something similar. I don't know. I didn't take out dumbass private student loans, did I? No, I didn't. And the ones that I did take out, like a dumbass, I paid them off. Life Nefariousness 993. Is this a Ramsey good car? Did he say good car? Funds are not the issue, just seeing if folks would think this is a good car. I'm not going to click on that. Seems not to buy a 10-year-old car for that much. When I was a kid, 10-year-old cars cost $2,000. Hey, guess what? Inflation. You're not a kid anymore. So shut up with dumb crap. People are so dumb. It doesn't matter what things cost even 5 years ago, much less 10 years or 20 years. I don't know how old this person is. I have no idea. When I was a kid, the old 10-year-old cars cost $2,000. 5 years ago, I got a 10-year-old car. That was $1,750. So shut up. You're being stupid. People are dumb. People are so dumb. Paused was 79. Pay off my mortgage early or keep investing? Well, you do both. I think you're trying to fix what's not broken. The baby steps are fine. This says invest 15% of your household income. That would be gross household income. Okay, says that. Says save for kid college. So should be addressing that if you have children and decide you want to help them. You should be at least addressing it. You can do just a little bit a month towards that. If they are very young, or say if they were just born, you can just put a little bit to that, or hold off a little while. But step 6 is pay off your home early. I don't see where it says in here, invest 1 penny more than the 15% into retirement. I don't see where it says that anywhere on here. So again, quit being dumb. So guess what you do? You do both of these. Okay? You do not take time out. Now, if it's a situation where you can pay your house off in 2 years if you stop investing for 2 years, Mr. Ramsey is fine with that. You can do that. Because then you won't have a mortgage payment, and then you'll be able to do extra investing. So Mr. Ramsey is fine with that. But let's see what this person's dealio is. People always have dealios. My mortgage rate is about 3.75%. I got enough saved to pay it off right now. But with 1 year CDs paying around 4.4%, I'm wondering if it makes more sense to keep the mortgage and let my money grow. Let's see, invest 15%. Retirement. Pay off home early in step 6 here. I don't see where it says debt leverage your freaking low interest mortgage so you can invest more. It does not say that. You're dumb. Quit being dumb. I'm wondering if it makes more sense to keep the mortgage and let my money grow. I get the importance of paying off debt fast. Apparently not. You don't, because you're typing this and not carrying unnecessary interest. Definitely don't want to ignore that. But I'm also thinking about balancing that with investing a bit to build wealth. That happens, you're building wealth because you are adding to your net worth by paying off the home early. But build wealth doesn't happen until step 7 in the way that you're thinking about it by investing more. You're thinking about it wrong. You're doing it wrong. If you want to do that, knock yourself out. That's not the Ramsey advice. Also been looking at student loan options. What? All right. So, update while debating between paying off. I mean, what would you use the cash you got to pay off the house? You would use that cash before you would get a freaking student loan, dumbass. How come, I mean, it's the Dave Ramsey subreddit. The average person on here does not make it to this subreddit unless they're aware of Mr. Ramsey, and if you're aware of Mr. Ramsey, you know he's the no debt guy. So many stupid people. Trillium, starting out. Hello, I'm 25 years old. And started this journey a couple months ago. I make pretty good money, $150,000 a year. While my wife stays home with our 2 kids, in the couple of months, in the past couple of months maybe, I was letting her research for herself about the baby steps. You were letting her do it. I don't like that phrasing. Maybe not. Maybe not English as a first language. We'll see here. So I have not been. So I have not been following the baby steps. For real. We have about $3,000 just sitting in the account. I know the baby step says $1,000. Yep, it does. Let's make sure. Hey, look. Save $1,000, start emergency fund. Yes, that is exactly what it says. You have figured it out completely. I was basically just saving some money before actually diving in baby steps and letting wife research. I'm just trying to grasp putting all that money towards a car to pay off, which would leave about $500 left to pay off on the car, which frees up about $500 a month for the car payment. The $1,000 does not get, after you save it up, that does not get used to pay off debt. You don't save up more than $1,000 either, so you shouldn't have $3,000 now. That should already be gone to your debt. You're doing it wrong. Oh, 13,000, not 3,000. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. So you would put 12,000 towards that car, which frees up about 500. Yeah, we don't have any credit card debt. Great. I paid what we owed the hospital already. So basically, just 2 cars in the house. I'm just looking for some affirmations to basically say the money would go to the car. It would, and just snowball the 500 plus sum into the next car. Thank you. And yes, that is how the baby steps work. Good job. You figured it out. I think has figured it out. So what you don't have is a situation going forward where you would have 13,000 sitting in an account again. The only money you have sitting in an account would be $1,000 now. Everything else goes to pay off the first dumbass car loan and then the second dumbass car loan after that. Big Shirt 2562, financial advice for early 20s, still a baby. Hello, I'm 20 female, and I have a question for you guys. As a 20-year-old who's kind of clueless about money or financial literacy, like investing, I don't know what that means. What financial advice can you give me that you wish you knew when you was my age? Hashtag third grade, were my age. And what would you have done differently? I would have started following the Ramsey advice as soon as I heard it on the radio. In the 1990s, I would be much better off. But no, like a lot of you people, I was a dumbass. So, I mean, you are kind of in the right place. This is the subreddit. I would send you to the Ramsey Solutions website, and you can type in any question on there that you have, and it will pull up an article, blog post kind of thing on that. Watch the Ramsey Show on the YouTube. There are a bunch of the older ones, so you can just watch that all the time for a while until you pick up all the advice. So that would be what I would do. You could read the books. You could read Dave's Total Money Makeover. That's the linchpin. You know, if you're 20s, you might appreciate George's writing style better. His book is called Breaking Free from Broke. And I'm sure it's got probably most of the same advice in it. Opening shame, 2839, just getting started. 28 years old, we got 5 kids. That's a lot. And just started saving for a house. Yep, gotta have somewhere to put the kids. We want to buy a house within 3 years. Got 3 mortgages. And of course, you know, you get back to Ghostbusters. Um, Calm down, Ray. Everybody has 3 mortgages nowadays. Student debt, 17,000 euros. Car loan, 20,000 euros. Car loan, 10,000 euros. Post-tax income, 6,400 euros. Savings, 5,000 euros. After all new monthly expenses, we have 1,200 euros. Where would you place the spare 1,200 euros and why? Well, I'm going to fix the 3 mortgages thing by selling 2 of those properties. So there's no 3 mortgages, and hopefully that's not a mortgage and a HELOC or another HELOC. Hopefully it's not all on one property, because that's horrible. But you would take this savings down to 1,000 euros, or if it's more money, whatever you want. You can do the euro equivalent of $1,000 US, whichever way you want to do it. I don't care about that part. But you would take that money down and out of the savings and put it towards the lowest debt, which looks like it's the car loan. That's for 10,000. Now the car loan that you have 20,000 on, I would sell that one. How about that? And that way you don't have to pay that off. That way you can get to work on that student loan instead. So I'm not just planning for your extra 1,200 euros a month and let all the rest of this crap ride. I'm not doing that. If it's 3 different properties involved here, you sell 2 of them and you live in the other one. And so we want to buy a house. You got too much debt. You're not in a position to buy a house yet. You have to pay all of this debt off before you buy a house. You're doing it wrong, thinking about it wrong. So stop it. So yeah, your question is, how do we keep things going as it is now? And then what do we do with our just $1,200 a month? No, you can make your financial situation much better by getting rid of 2 of those mortgages and this dumbass car that you have $20,000 owed on still. What to do with old 401k plan? And we Theo. High of old 401k plan at Empower at 122k. I'm 30 without any debt outside my mortgage. I have a current company, Roth 403b account. Lincoln Financial. I wish I knew about the Roth 401k prior to having the traditional 401k, but alas, yeah. Anyways, what would you advise I do with it? So you can convert it you can throw that into the Roth 403b and just transfer it, but you will have to pay taxes on the contribution amounts that you put into the 401k because you didn't pay any taxes while you were contributing them. So you do have to pay taxes on that if you can convert it. You could also convert it into an IRA. Not a Roth IRA, but a regular IRA, which is the same thing. You get credit for the tax, you don't have to pay tax on it first. For Roth stuff, you have to pay tax on it first. So you can do either of those, and you can transfer it to Empower, and you can add it to your Empower account, and just roll it over like that. I know that if I roll it over Roth IRA, right, pay taxes on it from my current savings because I wouldn't want it taken out of the actual investment. Yeah, if you have enough savings to do that, which depending on what baby steps you are, you probably shouldn't have that. But people People do that dumbass crap all the time. They have $50,000 of savings in addition to the emergency fund while they still have a house payment, which you shouldn't have. They have $20,000 in savings while they still have debt, and that's a no as well. People basically are nutty. I didn't close this one after opening it up previously. Where were we on this one? Or is it small enough amount of money considering my current age to simply roll into my current company's retirement plan? I'm not the most savvy when it comes to understanding this stuff, to be honest. Maybe step 6 flare. I mean, if you have the savings and you are only 30, so you got 30 more years in the market, yeah, I would go ahead. That's so much money. You'll make that back over time. So I would convert it to Roth, so it can be in the Roth 403b. Meaning you pay the taxes on it out of your current savings. So yeah, I would do that. Although there should not be any savings that big other than emergency fund while you still have that house to pay off. So you're doing it wrong on top of that. But since you do have it, you might want to use it for that. But otherwise, everything else you have saved other than the full emergency fund, that goes to pay off the house. And then you can be done with step 6 too. Were you not aware of that? Enemy Theo. Maybe not. Tricky Dimension 771, getting rid of van. Yes, do that. Can someone please walk me through to get rid of the van payment we have? It's a 2021 Honda Odyssey with some body damage. Some body damage. Some and body are 2 words. It's supposed to be. It runs perfectly. In my other post I have on here, I said it had a $26,000 balance, but I was wrong. The balance is $22,000. Okay. The payment is $699.94 per month. That was pretty stupid to start buying that. To buy that, wasn't it? To finance that. I'm on the account now, and it says the principal every month is $530.37. And the interest is $134.57 per month. There is also a $35 fee. Isn't that fun? I have no idea what that is, but I guess it's being charged every month. I don't know why. Call them and ask them. I would love to sell this, do that, and get out of this large payment, but I don't know how to do that. We have a large family, and it's our main vehicle. Would I take it to a Honda dealer? No. And trade in? No. You don't do that. That's the best way to lose money, because guess what? The dealership wants to make money off of their transactions. They're not trying to help you out. Dealer and ask to trade it in and then try to finance something cheaper. No, there's no financing. You buy a cheap van in cash. No financing. And you might not even be able to sell it for more than the $22K. Hopefully you can. So, like, for example, if you can get 26 for it, that's an extra $4,000. And so then you buy a $4,000 van. And now when you say a large family, if you mean there are 2 kids, that's not a large family, and you don't need a frickin' van. Even with 3 kids, you don't need a frickin' van. 3 children can fit in a compact car. So quit the justification station and sell that van. And don't give the dealership money. Another tricky, this is another. Same person. I would like to pause a retirement, just like Dave says to do. Yeah, you're on baby step 2, and that is what he says to do. But my husband works construction and is in the union. Are we able to pause retirement? I don't know why you wouldn't be. Oh, yeah, some unions, like the teachers union, if you're a public school teacher, you have to invest, so you might not be able to. So, okay. So, but find out. Have him ask. How about that? I just don't know how it works. Are you talked to? I don't see anything on the pay stub about it. Tishinian dues coming out. Thanks in advance. I got a great idea. Why doesn't your husband get involved in this instead of you just trying to work on everything around him? Have him talk to his boss or the union leader or a coworker or something instead of you trying to figure it out for him. Do that. Ready? And is there another? No, there's not. There won't be any show tomorrow because of my work schedule right in the middle of the day, so it doesn't work for either. Actually, like, it's too, I start too early to do an after show, and I'm working past 8 p.m., working until 9 p.m. Eastern time. So that doesn't work for the 8 p.m. stream either, so I'm not doing any stream tomorrow, Wednesday, but I am doing 8 p.m. streams Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And what will we be talking about there? Somebody loving the progress, and great. That's what we generally would like. Progress generally is a good thing, and you should love it. Rental car fiasco, fun times. Find out what that's all about. Stop putting in my 401k and Roth IRA temporarily. If you're on step 2, yes. Yes, because investing is step 4, and that's not until step 4, and you're on step 2. So yes, people don't understand that. They have to ask multiple times to make sure that's right. Lots of folks are saying 15 years. It doesn't matter what lots of folks say. That doesn't matter what people say. Not a huge Dave Ramsey subscriber. Why are you on the Dave Ramsey subreddit then? Dumb. People are so dumb. $100,000 bonus payout. Any extra money you put towards whatever baby step you're on. So, like, you wouldn't, if you had step 2 debt and got $100,000, you wouldn't just put it towards the house to pay that off, or you wouldn't invest it. No, you would go wherever baby step you're on, and that's any extra money always. And so it doesn't matter that it's a big sum or a bonus payout or a windfall, inheritance. None of that matters. You apply any extra money of any kind to whatever baby step you're on, using every dollar like you need a budget. I don't know that that's possible. And just turned 30 now, over $1 million in debt. How bad is that? I would say pretty bad. And that sounds a lot like perhaps Mr. Ramsey, but he was younger than that when he did that trick. So that's pretty bad. So stop it. Stop it would be the advice for you. Alrighty, one more time. Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you have money problems, you can schedule or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, or you just need to be called a dumbass so you get your butt in gear. You can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can also use that email address for anything on my YouTube channel, any financial coaching questions, and financial questions at all. That email is coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively to CashApp, $Coach Steve Money. It wasn't taken. Walmart gift card to Coach Steve Money at gmail.com is another option. Also, obviously, super chats and on the live streams, and super thanks on the pre-recorded. Upcoming streams, the Ramsey Show After Show, and we are done with those for the week. Oh no, Thursday, July 10th. Forgot about that one. So that'll be the next after show, and answering your financial questions 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that will be, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. I knew it was 3 days in a row. I thought it was Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The ticker is correct. When in doubt, trust the ticker. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.